All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the broadcast here. Once again, I'm Breaky CPK, and you're tuning into the Starladder iLeague Star Series, season number 3, the American qualifying action coming at you, day number 2. This being our final series here of the day, a best of 2 once again. We have Team Freedom going up against Infamous here, North America versus South America. Here we go. We'll see what happens here in this 2-game series. Excited to be here. And I got my new co-caster on, as I promised here. I'm going to be joined by CCNC again. How's it going? Oh, do I still have you muted? Hold on. Okay, there we go. I had you muted. That was my bad. How's it going?
It's going good. Ready to watch some more dotes?
Glad
New mix of teams.
Yeah, no, these two teams going at it. These two teams, they've matched up in some of these Tier 2 events, you know, kind of things like the Pro Dota Cup and things that have been going on. And they kind of seem to be like those top Tier 2 teams in the American scene.
Mm-hmm.
But they're trying to break into Tier 1, so we'll see how they match up here. I'm looking forward to a fun one.
Yeah, it should be good. Freedom going for that first pick, Ember Spirit, and Infamous countering with the Slaughter Darkseer. A very, very strong dual offlane. Slaughter obviously good versus Ember Spirit, as you do have the amplify damage, a nice stun versus him. And it also gives you a nice wombo combo as you can vacuum into the stun. And Darkseer, it gives you some dual lane potential, but you can also have the Slaughter start in the safe lane, then rotate down later. Ion Shell works well with him. He's a run-at-you hero.
Yeah.
Team Freedom picking up the Omni Knight, so staying true to their typical run-at-you, push early style that Team Freedom almost always goes for.
Yeah, I've had the chance, like I said, to cast actually both these teams a little bit lately, and I agree with you. Team Freedom especially, they really like to just come online very early on in the game, come together and start pushing. And Omni Knight, definitely good for that. So him with the Ember Spirit, we'll see how that trend continues. The initial bans, Leshrac, Abaddon. It's not often you'd see a team that gets those two heroes banned against them, but Leshrac and Abaddon taken away from Freedom, and I think for good reason. Kind of fits the theme of what we were talking about. So, Shadow Demon and Undying taken away by them.
Yeah, they quite often do aggressive dual lanes with the Undying, and they also favor Shadow Demon very highly as a support pick. They'll almost always grab it first if they can.
10 seconds remaining.
And I guess Freedom didn't want to take it as they did have the first pick, so they wanted this Ember Spirit, so banning out the Shadow Demon. Because they didn't want him against the Embers, you can always purge off the Flame Shield. You could pick up the Shadow Demon and the Luno, so just not wanting to have to deal with the illusion spam. A safe ban out, especially versus teams that really, really prioritize that hero.
Fourth ban for Infamous, and then the one to come from Freedom. Disruptor taken away. Disruptor, I feel like there was some recent event where Disruptor actually was the most played hero in that. I want to say it was like the Chinese qualifiers for the DAC or something like that, and I guess that was a little bit surprising, but at the same time, I feel like Disruptor is almost underrated. The hero is just strong overall. The silence is great. The glimpse is a great tool. Why don't we see Disruptor more?
I think we do see him quite a bit. He's a hero without a hard stun. He's not great in lane. He's decent in lane, but he's quite bad from behind. So he's a hero that you kind of want to be ahead when you're playing on the hero. If you're behind, then the glimpse isn't really super useful. You can glimpse them back to stop them from running at you, but that's just one hero, and the rest of them continue to storm at you. You kind of need setup for your ulti a lot of times. Yeah. The static field is not the most consistent spell, and I think he does get picked up a decent amount. He works quite well with the Darkseers, Slaughters, those kinds of heroes, just in general, because it gives you some nice wombo combos. Very good team fight. I'm kind of surprised they banned it against Freedom, as it's not typically a Freedom hero. They will pick it from time to time, but Freedom does go for the Juby Wisp, so a classic.
Classic Juby Wisp, or so he says. I'm going to trust you on that one. I'm newer to the scene, so I don't know these classic hero player combinations as much as others, but a hero that Wisp pairs up well, there's a couple obviously. Huskar is like one of the most famous ones, but I don't think we're going to be seeing that. Ursa, I know, could be a potential Bristleback even. I mean, is that those heroes that maybe you expect to see?
I think a Bristleback is a pretty big possibility. They will pick it in pubs. It's a combination they go for a reasonable amount. They sometimes will also do IX Mike Omni Knight, so that could also be the case, but they will go for this IO Bristleback from time to time. In fact, I played against it in a pub last night. They first two'd IO Bristleback when they were on the same team. So
that's rude.
That could be a possibility. We'll see what they go for. Freedom has some weird picks from time to time. Their drafts seem to be sort of
10
incoherent a lot of
seconds
times, but
remaining.
it's all based around just fighting early, winning these early team fights, having tower push,
5
strong team
seconds
fight,
remaining.
winning their lanes, and able to just take early racks. And there it is, like you said, the Bristleback,
Dire team
IO
banned.
Bristleback, an infamous combo, very strong dual offlane, and Rubik Weaver, not the best of lanes to be able to deal with it. They can try and get on top of this Wisp and bring him down, but Juby very good at the Wisp, so going to be positioned very far back behind, not going to be able to get lifted most probably, and just healing
10
his Bristleback
seconds
up at all
remaining.
times.
This is a rare moment. I
5
definitely got to give
seconds
myself a pat on the
remaining.
back. Guessing the Bristleback pick right here. So, not that it was a stretch by any means. But.
Reserve time.
So now what do they final pick is the question. Now that one I don't really have any answer for. Like you said, Omni Knight could be that offlane of Mike's hands, or they could instead run him more as a support option, and then that would kind of change up this final pick. And then Bristleback himself, isn't Bristleback something that you could run in the offlane as well? And so then that means they still need their one possibly?
Yeah, most probably their one. Tomato typically plays the Ember Spirit. I don't think BSJ has much experience on that hero, so it'll probably be the Ember Spirit mid, support Omni Knight, and then a dual offlane with the Bristleback IO. They stack up the Ancients a fair amount. As when you're in the safe lane,
Radiant
or
team
just the
banned.
Bristleback Soul and the IO doing whatever, it's a little bit harder to get those Ancient stacks up. It's really important that you do stack them up every minute you can, as they only spawn once every 2 minutes. So stack up the Ancients, stack up some other camps. The Wisp has access to that rune and a
10
couple of those other
seconds
camps, so he's able to
remaining.
jungle them up with the spirits. And overall, it's just nice to have that dual
5
offline Omni
seconds
Knight supporting
remaining.
whatever BSJ's hero may be.
Yeah, I know the new rune system
Reserve
with the
time.
7.0 patch. Io was kind of one of the heroes that came to mind for a lot of people. The idea you get that early bottle and talk about just that rune control and how he's able to refill that bottle constantly. But with that said, again, it doesn't feel like we see the hero a lot either. We haven't seen him a
Radiant
lot.
team
So
pick.
I guess he is kind of one of those comfort heroes at the same time. He's not the easiest to necessarily play, and you really have to build the lineup around the hero, or at least get that tether partner with them. So in this case, they do with the Bristleback. They ban Ursa themselves.
Yeah, a very
10
strong
seconds
laner against
remaining.
the Bristleback, one of the few heroes that can actually deal with this hero and bring him down
5
early on in the
seconds
game. Bristleback, a
remaining.
hero that's very, very useless from the behind typically, so you want to give him a good start, give him a good lane,
Reserve
let him get up
time.
to an early max, some tanky items at 5 mana with the team. When he's behind, he's just sort of this super weak hero that doesn't do much damage, doesn't have a stun, can't heal his team, not great in team like these long team fight, can't get to these long team fights because you just get ripped apart by the Slaughter, Amp, the Weaver, throwing in right clicks. So I guess they suspected it would maybe be a mid Weaver if they're banning out this Ursa. Ursa can also go mid and lane versus the Ember Spirit and crush him. So overall, just a hero that would have destroyed whatever lane he went to. So a good ban overall, I think, for Freedom.
It feels like Necro would be a hero that fits just the idea of Freedom as a team overall. And I'm not saying we're going to see a Necro final pick here, but that's here we don't really see at all, despite a lot of the hype around it. Is there a reason why Necro maybe isn't picked, do you think?
He's very immobile. You kind of have to build a lineup around him, and he's very easy to kill to magic damage. He's good versus physical damage.
Dire
And
team
would it
pick.
would have been decent this game as he's pretty good versus the Slaughter and the Weaver both, but just a hero that's extremely immobile, has the heal, it doesn't really scale that well late game, isn't a great laner. There's a lot of issues that hero has. He's kind of just weak, but we get to see the
10
infamous
seconds
BSJ Slark,
remaining.
the living legend.
They got a lot of these player hero
5
combos,
seconds
apparently.
remaining.
BSJ Slark, the Jubi, Io. What else was there? Tomato, Ember Spirit. Is
Reserve
that a
time.
classic?
It's not really a classic.
Well,
He just plays it.
he's just Tomato's a newer player though, right? He's a young player
10
from my
seconds
understanding.
remaining.
Yeah, he's like 16, I think.
One of these prodigies
5
that's on the
seconds
scene.
remaining.
Just a little younger than yourself, right? You're not too old. What are you?
I'm 18. Yeah.
18. All right. Shadow Fiend final pick for Infamous. Okay, so they get their mid option here to finish off, and Shadow Fiend Ember Spirit matchup.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Kotaro, a very good laner, and plays an extremely good Shadow Fiend. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, Shadow Fiend has a very nice matchup against the Ember in the lane and in the game. If he does get a lot of items, can take the fight to this Io Bristleback quite well. The ulti, very nice, versus the Slark as well, as you have a lot of AoE damage spells, so the Slark not able to disjoint any of that damage whenever he goes into Shadow Dance. So overall, just a pretty good pick, pairs up well with the amplified damage from the Slaughter, and gives them some more team fight and push as well.
Here we go. Game number 1, guys, of this series. Again, I'm
10
Breaky
seconds
CPK, joined
remaining.
by CCNC here. We got game 1 of this 2-game series. Infamous
5
versus Team
seconds
Freedom, our
remaining.
final series here of the night. Should be a good finish. Infamous, it is there. Did they play yesterday? Let me double check. Oh, this is the wrong event. Pull it up here as we're in the pause. Who did play yesterday again? It was, yeah, they played, that's right. They played, no, they didn't play. Yes, they did. They played Doo-Wop. That's what it was. They lost to I was looking at something else for a sec. Doo-Wop beat them actually 2-0, and I had Z-Rock on earlier. He was mentioning how Doo-Wop actually is looking really good lately, so not too surprised about that. But Team Freedom also played yesterday, and they split their series against Team Onyx, team that we just saw before. So Infamous, yeah, they're 0-2 right now. They like to at least get a win, if not win the series here. Back on track.
Yep, with the South American qualifiers having a slot, they're definitely going to want to be doing the best they can, getting up to tip-top shape. Losing King Tekka recently, one of their best players, debatably the best player in South America. I think he went to another team, not sure which one, maybe some inside trouble there. So they do have Valkyria playing the Slaughter instead of who would typically be King Tekka. So maybe a little bit weaker than they were before, but still a strong roster with Benjaz and Kataro, arguably as well some of the best players in South America.
That's a good point, yeah. The Valve Major, they did announce that, didn't they, where South America is going to have a team represent them. So that'll be curious. Yeah, Infamous is pretty much at the top of the list. You got a couple other Dialcom, of course, as we saw earlier, and then 40R, I think, is another team. Or SG Esports, actually, they're now known as.
Yeah.
A couple that come to mind. So we'll see who which of the South American teams take the reins there, but look at this movement by Team Freedom off the bat. All 5 they're gonna go for a walk at the top here. Oh, that's a DC.
There we go, the classic.
Guys, you want to pause?
They're not pausing.
Guys, here. Oh, I guess
Oh,
it
he's
just
back.
reconnected. All right, quick restart.
All right, it was a quick DC. It's been some bug. All right.
Not gonna find anybody up here though. Speaking of the bug, Weaver
30 seconds
is
to
keeping
battle.
his distance, but they are gonna steal the rune. However, the bottom rune is gonna be taken by Infamous, so it will be a 2-2 split still on either side.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to be going for this aggro duel, and like we said, the IO Bristleback and the Slark Omni Knight going down to this bottom lane. Slark Omni Knight, not the strongest of lanes, are going to be playing up against the Darkseer Slaughter. It looks like it's actually going to be a support Darkseer, or at least played by their support player. Stinger typically plays the 4,
battle
Excel
begins.
playing the 5, and Valkyria playing their off lane. So their support player is playing the Darkseer. I would say it necessarily will be a support Darkseer, but that's who's playing it. It's a very strong duel offlane. We'll have to see how the Slark does. He may suffer early on, and it's not the most amazing of Slark games. Very good versus their support duo, though. Rubik and Slaughter do almost nothing. Or, I mean, I guess Slaughter is the offlane. And those heroes have a really hard time locking down a Slark, because they both just have very obvious stuns that aren't AoE. You know, the Crush is AoE, but extremely easy to purge off, and purges off the amplify damage quite easily as well.
That's a pretty clever trick right there. I'm sure it's done frequently, but I'm going to go ahead and make note of it, as we saw Wisp actually tethering with the ranged creep to help speed it up, as Bristleback was blocking the others, and then get it in the front so it gets killed right away, and thus pushing back the lane. So is that something we see often, or is that a pretty unique trick?
Yeah, we'll see it from time to time whenever people do these cheeky offlanes. Wisp Bristleback, not the most common thing. Jubi taking a little bit of his experience with these Korean teams that they used to run Wisp Bristleback a reasonable amount. Played on MVP Phoenix for a short stint. Back whenever they used to run Wisp Bristleback all the time. So using some of those tricks, very, very comfortable on the strategy. These guys play it quite a bit.
Yeah. Look at this jungle over here. You see Bristleback runs right over those, starts spamming those quills. Weaver kind of pissed off. Shikuchi's through, but yeah, can't stay there for long. Those quill charges will start adding up, and all of a sudden you're getting hit really damn hard. So has to fall back from the area, but Io keeps that tether going to the Bristleback. Middle lane, Tomato. He might have a
Radiant's
kill.
middle tower
Oh
is
no,
under
the Fairy
attack.
Fire, and actually cancels the raise. So yeah, kind of playing chicken right there with one another. And thus Ember Spirit survives, but did have to use the Fairy Fire. Help keep alive. They're also going to do a good job boxing out the Bounty Rune up here at the top lane. As there we go, Io picks it up.
Yeah, actually going for the Aquila first on SF, kind of uncommon. Typically you go for the boots first in this matchup, so you can stay out of the Ember Spirit's range, make sure he doesn't threaten to kill on you. Tomato going for the Quelling Blade to ensure he can get a lot of CS up. So Sumail did that in one of the matchups at Dota Pit in the Ember versus SF matchup and did quite well. But this Aqua is kind of uncommon. I'm not sure how good it is, and he may be in a little bit of a threat. Gives him some extra damage, and the mana regen is nice, as he does still have his Shrine up, so probably going to go Shrine after this wave, but a little uncommon. Maybe Kotaro thinks it's strong, we'll have to see. So far the lane reasonably even, Tomato with a good start, but like we talked about, Kotaro may be going down here.
Walk up and pop Flame Guard and Searing Chain. Seems pretty easy, right? So down goes Shadow Fiend. Yeah, I don't know if Boots would have necessarily saved him there, but he just simply got gone on. But bottom lane, speaking of being gone on, the big dive from Darkseer down here. The Iron Shell's up, BSJ. He's got another pass, not up soon actually. He pops a Dark Pack, but he's going to fall. Stinger credit for the kill. And it will be a 1-1 now as far as the game goes. So they get revenge at the bottom at least.
Yeah, we didn't talk too much about this Slark, other than it being a BSJ hero, but not a hero that Freedom picks a lot this patch. Much better known for their... Wow.
Those raises were beautiful by Tomato. Now, can he get the kill onto him as well? Excuse me, why am I saying Tomato? He's playing the Ember Spear. Wow. I'm trying to give credit to him when he's one on the other side. Well played by Shadow Fiend is the point. Get the turn kill onto Wisp. But as you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, it's not a hero that Freedom favors much this patch. Maybe BSJ thinks it's a very, very good Slark game. Or they wanted some more late game assurance. But Freedom typically picking, this patch picking more of these fighting cores, more of like an offlaner style, pick LC safe lane, they'll pick Centaur safe lane, those types of heroes. So a more traditional carry in the Slark, a little uncommon for Freedom this patch.
Yeah. I definitely see what you're saying there. Like I said, I've been watching them a little bit lately, so that does come to mind. So, but BSJ again, honest Slark, you're saying plays it pretty well, or known for playing it even. I assume that means he plays it pretty well. The Crush comes out on the Slardar. Yeah. Hey, I'm not involved in this, so no. He has the point nearby. They're going to dive on him again, but yeah, he's going to pounce away before anything too crazy happens. No vacuum just yet onto Darkseer, but the Ion Shell's going to do plenty of damage. But here comes Omni Knight. By the way, he's still in the game. And Slaughter will fall. So, yeah, I almost forgot that he was here, and so did they, apparently. So, a turn.
Yeah, a little bit of an overextension, but this top lane, we talked about Bristleback wanting to get a good start, but only 6 last hits right now. Weaver 26. This top lane really going Infamous' favor, and before that dive happened bottom, basically winning all 3 of their lanes. You know, the middle going a little bit sour, but the Shadow Fiend still getting plenty of farm up, has the bottle as well as the boots and the Aquila, so not too sad, even though he did go down. Tomato level 6, having a nice time. But yeah, this Bristleback only level 3 at 5 minutes. Really not where you want to be compared to Slaughter's level 5. The Wisp suffering as well, only level 3, so Bristleback may even go down up as well up top.
Bug's on him, trying to kill it quickly. Shikuchi's up, and not going to use it, though. In fact, we'll start falling back. TP coming in. Actually, got canceled, it seems like, so never mind. Bristleback will have to just sit at the tower. No Shrine to be used. Still much long cooldown, just over 2 minutes here, 2.5 minutes really, as Rubik's coming in the flank. But now this TP is going to come through, and it is Io. He'll pop the tether and start healing up with those bottle charges. So well played there, Weaver. Will continue to harass, but yeah, Bristleback looking for a little bit better farm. He's almost level 5 now, though, so as you say, they got a lot of experience there. Bottom lane, though, yeah, they're going to dive on this Slark. They take him out again with that Ion Shell. Eagle, not enough heal support there.
Yeah, you kind of have to worry for this Slark. Not a hero that's amazing from behind. Can catch up decently well in the jungle, but may just end up getting run over. But this Ion Shell Slaughter pressure is not going to stop. They're going to continue running down at this lane. The Shrine is still in cooldown, so not able to Shrine back up and immediately go back down. Gonna have to go back to base. Just have the bottle and Slaughter at least.
Okay, he does get it now, but I was going to ask, he didn't actually get Repel yet. He actually does get it at level 4. You know, it is good against the Ion Shell, I figure, being magic damage there, but is that maybe a hindsight? Is it fine that he didn't get that earlier?
What, the Repel?
Yes.
Yeah,
he went the Aura even over it.
Yeah, level 1 Repel, not super useful in lane. You can put it on, but typically it'll just delay the inevitable, not really change the situation that much. And the Aura, maybe we're setting up a kill or wanted to zone a little bit. I don't think it matters the most, as it's only 4 seconds long, not near the glamour it used to be on level 1.
Yeah.
Just, you know, in general, Repel nerfed quite a bit, several patches in a row.
Both teams setting up a bit of bait here, it feels like, in the middle lane. More so Rubik maybe just here for support, but Ember Spirit does have several supports nearby, both in that Wisp as well as the Omni Knight. However, I don't know if Bites Zadusto is going to be looking to go up the hill here and play too aggressive. So they are pinging him, though. Ember Spirit going in. Here comes Swift, tethering up. The Razes come out. He's trying to kill the Wisp again, and he lines it up perfectly. He does get taken out. I mean, he's making that look easy. That's not easy. He's doing a good job with those Razes. Lining them up.
Yeah,
so.
nice turnaround kill from Katara, but they do bring down the Shadow Fiend and Tomato up to 700 gold as well as the 2 Null Talismans. So well on his way to this Veil, and he's sort of the shining hope for Team Freedom right now, as their other lanes really not going so well. This Weaver, a very, very good Weaver game. No stuns on Team Freedom. The only lockdown they really have are these chains, so it's very important this Ember has a good game, so he's able to maybe make something happen, give them a better shot at these team fights, because other than him, the rest of their heroes are quite low on net worth.
Bottom lane pressure. This tower is taking plenty of damage. Nothing that Slark can do by himself. He's clearly found himself in a difficult spot. He's going to pick up a double damage rune, or he's over in the area, but he's actually going to leave it, and Darkseer will instead pick it up. So, yeah, I don't know if something just got him a little scared there or whatnot, but decides to allow Darkseer to pick it up in this bottom tower. It's going to fall in the meantime. So Slaughter, he'll take advantage of free farm. Man, he has 1,500 gold saved up, basically. He's almost got a Blink Dagger, and we're almost 8.5 minutes into this game. This is going to be a very, very effective Slaughter early on.
Yeah, their team fight's going to be extremely strong with him having the Blink, getting high levels as well, already up to level 8. And the Weaver almost has Dragonlance on top of this Ring of Health, so giving a little bit more sustain against the Quills, the Bassi, as well as the Wand. So the typical build, not going for boots. And yeah, the Weaver's Slaughter is going to be very vicious in these early fights. Slork has up the Aquila, the Quelling Blade, healing up in base now. And going to go farm the bottom. We've pushed into his tower, but while they try to farm up these Ancients, so just trying to catch up around the map, farming some jungle camps. And Tomato continuing to do pretty well mid, has the Veil up already, so a 9-minute Veil. Like we said before, Tomato, sort of their shining hope right now.
I love the idea of a hero being able to effectively farm by literally standing there, pressing W over and over again, and just having his back turned to the creeps, as we saw right there with Bristleback. So yeah, it takes on that huge stack of Ancients, and that means that mech is coming just around the corner now. So this is Freedom's timing as you're getting it. This is a team that loves to group up earlier on, make some pushes happen, and with that mech finished, it looks like they're trying to finish off the rest of it, get that pattern now. They'll be good to go. The Weaver and the Rubik at the top lane. Not aware that something could be happening here in the near future. But IX Mike will say hello again and continue to push it out. You mentioned the Veil pickup on Ember Spirit, so that could also come into play here. But Slark is just going to continue to farm, and I assume he's going to try to finish a Shadow Blade as his first item here. Is there any way he goes something else, or is this going to be a typical first item Shadow Blade on Slark?
I think he probably goes the Echo Saber first. It's come a lot more into popularity lately, as it still lets you fight in these early game fights, gives you more HP. Slow with the double hit is very, very nice. Mana regen, so lets you stay on the map almost infinitely as well, on top of the Aquila. Makes you a little bit tankier, so if you try and get ganked. Just overall a good item on this Slark, and you farm so fast with it having infinite mana regen, give you some more damage, and you get the Shadow Blade about the same time, just a little bit later.
Bristleback manages to live up here at the top lane. Look at the siege creep, by the way. It's in control of the Helm of the Dominator. It's kind of scouting things out. It's almost dead. It's going to go all the way back. Oh, he sees this. Wait, that's theirs. What am I saying? I thought that was the Radiance that whole time. It's getting late, I guess. Anyways, Dire side, they're going to do a smoke gank here at the top lane. Bristleback almost died previously to this. This time he may be in a lot more trouble, and yeah, he's definitely dead here. The Courier almost getting picked off, too. That would have been pretty crucial, because that's the mech and a couple other items on there making the mech on it. So it survives, though, but at least they kill Bristleback. That's a good start to this top lane now. Maybe start pushing it in themselves. Will slow down the eventual push that was going to happen from Team Freedom as well.
Yep, going on Katara a little bit, forcing him to TV back to base. Someone had an Arcane Rune, I believe, so jumped on him with the Flame Shield and the Veil. Keeping him back to base, though, perfectly fine on the Shadow Fiend. Has a Dragonlance up, he's going to be working towards that BKB, so once he has that, it's going to be very, very hard for Team Freedom to bring him down. FMS really had the advantage of being able to make the moves themselves right now. Freedom just sort of have to sit in lanes and wait for Infamous to make mistakes, overextend a little bit. They can try and do something with this Ember Spirit, but he kind of just has to sit in mid, deal with the creep waves that are constantly getting pushed in by the SF spamming raises. So Infamous has the luxury of being able to farm up, do whatever they really want on the map, as they have better lane push and very hard to kill cores right now because the waves are constantly in. The Weaver, a very naturally slippery hero.
Yeah, Darkseer, by the way, the one that got the helmet of the Dominator. I was actually curious, thought about it. I was like, wait, who the hell got it? So Darkseer is the one that has it here for Infamous. Again, not necessarily a hero maybe you'd expect to see it on, but this item has basically become a core item every game. No matter what heroes you have, it's just so good to pass up the aura of it, as well as the domination of the creeps, of course. So, ooh, top lane. Super Benjas. He's going to be fine. Shikuchi popped, and he'll walk it off. But this should be a top tower push now, so we see Freedom coming together. Oh, they're going to smoke, actually. Interesting.
Oh, dude, Stinger has messed up so bad. He bought a Soul Ring, and he's buying another Soul Ring because it's in his backpack. He doesn't realize it.
Oh, that's bad. And meanwhile, we do have initiation in the background. The quick kill on IO, as well as the Omni Knight right there. BSJ can't live despite the Shadow Dance. Spike's going to fall. That's a cleanup in favor of Infamous. The stun not going to hit Ember Spirit, though. He's a little too slippery with those remnants, and he will be fine. But, well, hey, 2 Soul Rings. Hey, they got the victory in that fight, and now Roshan's going to die.
I was wondering, why does he have a Sage's Mask in his inventory? He has the Soul Ring in his backpack. That's unfortunate. Yeah, but they do take that very nice fight. It's like we were talking about. Team Freedom has a really hard time making fights happen. They don't really have any initiators in these fights, and whenever you lose your lanes like that and you don't have heroes that can necessarily make moves, you're sort of forced to respond to all of Infamous's moves. They almost always have the advantage in these team fights, and we saw it there, taking a very nice clean fight, getting a 4-0, as well as getting that Roshan. Looks like PSG actually going to be going for the S and Y first, so a little bit of a flavor item, maybe having some specific reasons why he thinks it's good, as opposed to getting the Echo Saber. Kind of interesting, a little bit uncommon, so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, this is very unique. Again, I haven't watched a crazy amount of games, but all the Slark games on Castle being one of the more popular cores, this is not something I have seen before. It's like you said, either the Echo Saber, the Shadow Blade, or even something like a Hand of Midas for a greedy style, but going that Saint Yasha. So indeed, we'll see how that works out for him. Bottom lane, Darkseer. He's going to poke in again, but FaZe has a couple heroes nearby. They don't really have the greatest jump, though. So he should be fine. Yeah, that's I think it's a pretty obvious thing for Team Freedom in terms of what they're lacking here. They don't have that big-time initiator, something like a Sand King or whatever. But Darkseer, look at this. He's kind of just toying with him now. He's going to be Searing Jane, but he is not going to get away because they have too much damage. I was not expecting that. I don't think he was. Oh, there's a nice kill at least.
Yep, Infamous getting a little, or Stinger getting a little bit out of position and feeding him a free kill, so want to slow down the roll on giving away kills like that. They want to continue to farm up, get their Weaver and SF very strong. We'll have Desolator soon on Benjas, and then maybe their go time to try and take another fight with this Aegis. We'll have so much damage, as right now they're a little bit low on damage, and if they do turn around the fight with a heal on the mech, things like that, along with this Wisp, burst healing one target, could turn sour for Infamous. As the fight goes along, the Slarks able to build up stacks, so maybe wait for that Desto so they make sure they have enough damage to bring down these heroes in these fights.
Yeah. So Bristleback, again, fairly unique hero. Slaughter bottom lane, Ember Spirit. He's not going to chase him, though. But going back to Bristleback, he got the mech earlier on. Obviously, he's going to be finishing power treads here. What can we expect to see on him? Does he continue to taking like a Vanguard? I know it's seen even like an Abyssal Blade on him, but it's a pipe. I mean, what should we see here, you think?
You may go for the treads into the Vanguard, and then some, just Crimson Guard, a very good item on this hero. Just general tanky items. If he wants to go more right-clicky, go for the Saint Yasha, an item that we used to see a lot on this hero. Most probably a lot of armor items, though. Solar Crest, pretty decent this game. Crimson Guard, anything that mitigates physical damage, I think would be going for this game. So the mech now, probably the Vanguard, things like that. Just try and beef up his team as much as possible and keep this Wisp and Omni Knight from getting 2-shot.
I will say I'm a little surprised that no tower kills just yet for this Team Freedom side. It does feel like that, again, the idea of kind of grouping up and pushing some towers in, they haven't necessarily been able to accomplish that just yet. And they tried a little bit at the top lane, but it didn't really come to fruition. So, meanwhile, on the other side, Infamous, they take out a couple towers, including this middle one. that they just happen to kill. You see the Hellbear Smasher taken over by the Helm of the Dominator, giving them a nice move or attack speed aura, as well as the slam that it provides. And they may wrap around
Double
here.
damage empowers me.
Trying to make a play. They do have the wall combo. Oh, wait, no. Darkseer doesn't even have his wall yet. He's level 9. Interesting.
Radiant's
Oh,
top
but they're
tower
going to
is
catch
under
IO.
attack.
That's a kill. Raze comes out. There we go. Bristleback, he's actually very low on mana. He's going to be dropped anyways really quickly. Double kill for Bites the Dust Storm. Down
Radiant's
goes the
top
tower.
tower has fallen.
I just love that name. It's so fun to say.
Yeah, it looks like he's actually going for the Butterfly second item on Shadow Fiend. Has it completed now, so a full Butterfly on top
What?
of the Dragonlance. Does so
Wow.
much damage right now,
Dire's
combined with the
middle
amplified
tower is
damage.
under attack.
They have a lot of physical damage on Freedom.
Radiant's top tower
Also a lot of
is under
magical damage,
attack.
but I guess going all in,
Dire's
sort of this
top
physical
tower
damage build,
has
giving
fallen.
him so much damage, makes him very, very speedy as well, so he can speed up his farm, get around the map quicker,
Radiant's
and
top
works very
tower
well with
has
his
fallen.
Aegis. But typically why you buy Butterfly is you want to, it's a timing item. You want to push, you want to end the game with that evasion. Gives you a
Radiant's
lot of
top
effective
tower is
HP.
under attack.
So maybe trying to end the game right now, or at least take
Dire's
massive
bottom
map
tower
control.
is under attack.
We'll have to see here as they are
Dire's
pressuring this tier
middle
3, but
tower has
chasing
been
him down.
denied.
Requiem of Souls going off there. He's going to cancel it, realizing that is not necessary right there. Slark in the background is picked off by X-Mike, trying to live. Repels put up, but the auto attacks don't do plenty of damage with that Butterflies we're talking about. Not nearly enough, though. Slaughter actually will fall, and now Ember Spirit jumps back in. He has his Blink Dagger, chasing Ember Stinger. There's a wall coming out. The Requiem out for the sides, doing some good slow as well as a little bit of damage right there. And a double kill for the Shadow Fiend. He's right-click in. That Butterfly with the evasion doing so much work. And down goes Ember Spirit, but Slark now, he's on the setup by himself, trying to now finish off this Rubik, but now we have Weaver and Shadow Fiend chasing him back. He'll have to pounce away. And that'll be the end of that fight. That was a buyback on a Slark, so basically a full cleanup there for Infamous. You can just see, yeah, the Butterfly on Shadow Fiend, he was evading a lot there.
Yeah, it's a really neat build. Going for this Butterfly, super timing item, like we said, works really well with the Aegis. You saw there, it took them so much to take him down. It was dishing out so much damage, the massive attack speed, dodging a few attacks here and there, and now they're going to take this tier 3 and probably get back afterward. Shadow Fiend has to be careful. He's very, very squishy still.
Radiant's top
Squishy
tower
isn't
has fallen.
dead. Oh, no, he's not
The
dead.
TP's so long!
That
Oh my
took
god, he still lives.
forever. Wait, where did he go? That's why.
He beat the shrine.
I was like, why is it taking so long? Oh, he actually almost died because of that. But he does not. He gets the shrine, he gets the regen, he goes right back to farming. Oh, that was kind of greedy, but hey, it worked. And he also has another 20. He has another 2,500 CC. Like, this is absurd.
Yeah, he had the Morbid Mask queued up and has a Crystallis now as well. Didn't end up buying the Morbid Mask, just going for this Crystallis. So going for very, very heavy physical damage. They know that Team Freedom's lineup is all about sustain, about keeping these heroes alive, and getting to the point where Infamous doesn't really have the damage to kill them anymore. And they can just sort of run them over, take these long fights, get up stacks in the Slark, but Infamous having none of that and just building a metric ton of damage on all of their heroes to counter that. So it's a very nice itemization adjustments from Infamous that probably going to make a big difference in these fights, as we saw them take the tier 3 top and winning fight after fight after fight.
How about this? So we got the Blink Dagger on Ember Spirit, so the mobility is real. We got Slark, actually, a Yasha into a Blink Dagger. What is going on here? I feel like that is just like a what?
Yeah, I mean, he's I guess he's just going the Yasha instead of the Echo Saber. No Tail at Dota Pit was going Echo Saber into Blink quite a bit.
Okay.
So I guess just subbing in this Yasha for the Echo Saber, a little bit of an interesting choice. Does kind of have some mana issues, as you can see by his mana pool. So getting about halfway, and gonna make it a little bit weird if the fight does arise. He's gonna be not able to spam out too many spells. Doesn't have the wand either, so going for the Blink now, gonna make it a little more mobile. Try and get on top of these squishy supports. The Rubik, cancel the Slaughter's Blink, but the Slaughter does have a hood now, so he is no easy fish to take down in the mech on Darkseer, as well as the HOD. So a lot of their heroes quite tanky, so I don't know if this Blink will be able to go into too much use, but I don't know if any item would at this point. He really needs more than 7,500 net worth, as the SF almost doubling him up at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense there. Weaver, we've kind of been overshadowing Weaver a little bit because of the SF talk, but I mean, Weaver, Desolator, now a Diffusal Blade finish on top of that, and he's working towards a Lincoln Sphere finally, but is very aggressive when it comes to his damage as well. So this right-click presence of Infamous right now is damn absurd. Between those two heroes alone, you got the Corrosive Haze debuff, which is level 2, being applied to people as well. That's minus 15 armor. Then you got the aura, of course, from Shadow Fiend on top of that. So Yeah, it's no surprise that they're dying so quick. They're going to jump Omni Knight right here in the background to lift up the vacuum in. Right click here. They don't even have their big right clickers, and it's not going to be enough initially, but it does get the kill. He got the Guardian Angel off, though. The wall is down. Sark trying to hold his ground. Has the shot. Oh, the big rock wave of Salsto! Takes out the Sark, takes out Ember. And IX, Mike, you ain't tanky enough. That's going to be a complete wipe in favor of Infamous, and now that's the tower, and man, that was a beautiful ulti.
Yep, the Omni Knight going down super early in the fight, not able to get any heals, any repels off. And the SF, if they aren't getting on top of him, if they aren't pressuring him, forcing him to run away or bursting him at the beginning of these fights, he just kills everyone, almost 3-shot the Ember Spirit. And the Ember just not able to get on top of him in these fights because they do have the mech, they have the Hood on this Slaughter who's just running and making a lot of space for him. They really have issues getting on top of this SF with the Ogre Ice armor as well. Just gonna take these racks. There's nothing Team Freedom can do. They just lost their lanes so badly. Start getting super far behind and never really having an impact. Only Ember Spirit having a decent game.
Yeah. Very, very well played by Infamous, no doubt. They are looking really good, and it's a somewhat unique build, but at the same time, it's clear as to why, and it is working. We do see Super Benjas here on the Weaver, trying to run away. Stark gonna jump in, but the vacuum pulls him in into that crush combo, as you mentioned. They get the one quick kill on Ember Spirit. He does not have a buyback. BSJ still trying to pick off anyone he can, but he honestly just doesn't really do that much damage. It's no surprise. IO goes down. That should do it. I think Infamous just broke through, and that should be GG. There we go. Good game, well played. Game 1. Decisive for Infamous.
Yeah, they Team Freedom trying to switch it up a little bit. Go for a different playstyle instead of their typical super group up early on, but not really that used to it. Slark pick really not working out, getting too dumped on in his lane and never really coming online, and Infamous just kind of running over them, even with Kotaro going down early, Tomato showing off his individual skill, but just not mattering. Team Freedom kind of get run over and a little bit of a stomp. Some nice play from Infamous.
It really was. That was some good Dota right there, and definitely looking forward to continue watching some of that. But as far as Team Freedom, I'm sure they're not excited. They got outmatched there in that first game at least, but gonna have to swap things around. So it's not like they didn't necessarily get a comfortable draft. It just didn't necessarily work out in the laning phase, as you pointed out, and just could not get the momentum from there. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that means we got one more game here. We got Team Freedom versus Infamous, the final game of the night, the final game of this series. Infamous trying to keep momentum going and go 2-0 as well here, like they did yesterday, whereas Team Freedom, at this point, they wouldn't mind splitting the series. Well, we'll see what happens. Stay tuned, guys. We got game number 2 coming up next.